Hey guys, Terry with Computer Pro again. Just going over my mini collections here from, I've added a couple to it since I've done my latest video. So let's see, I think I've covered mainly these three Benchmades before. Some of the, I've got a bunch. I've got some of the Columbia River, what are they, M16s, and there's a bunch of them somewhere. They're in storage. I've got to find them. I probably have about another 5 to 7 decent knives that I have to find. But at any rate, my other ones, old Gerber Gator. You know, this is a. I'll go over the pros and cons that I found of some. This feels like a beautiful knife. Obviously, it's more of an outdoorsy deal or something, but you know, the Gerber Gators are so cheap. You know, they're not great knives by any means, but the I mean, they get the job done. They feel really, really good in the hand. You know, I mean, not much to say about a Gerber Gator, right? It is what it is. But for the money, for an outdoor knife, it's great. This guy, I don't know if he's. I add him because, you know, I had a client. I do networking and computer repair. I run a service shop, and I was at a client's, and he knew that I was into knives, and he gave me this. It's some weird. It's got a little deal here. Can't even read that. It doesn't appear to be a good quality one, but it's kind of unique and neat. And I'm never one to turn down a knife. It doesn't have. Oh, it does. It has a spring in there. I feel it. So there's a little bit of tension there. It's just kind of cool, different little knife. And let's see, so a SOG Trident. You know, as far as the seat belt cutter, using part of the blade and all that, I don't really like that. But boy, I tell you, you know, if you're going to get in a brawl, it is assisted a little bit. You can feel the spring. It's pretty strong assist there. This is a excuse me, a great feeling knife. You know, this is more of a combat style knife, or you know, that type of weapon. So pretty good knife. Also fairly cheap. The other one that I've acquired, my buddy from Jiu-Jitsu, Nate. If I could shout out to Nate. These are kind of cheap too, but he was cutting the grass. He lives out in the country, and he's got, I don't know, several acres, and he said he was cutting the grass, and he found this. It's very heavy. It was all rusty and you know, kind of tore up, so I cleaned it up the best I could. It says Bear M30. You know, I got to put on my glasses. It says Bear MCG. Boy, I have bad eyesight. USA. Tonto blade, ground on one side. Kind of a crude looking deal. It's very heavy. You know, I'm not great with butterfly knives, but it does the job. It's good for, it's kind of dull, so you won't cut yourself. Good for training and so forth. Once again, it was free. I'm certainly not going to pass it up. It's a heavy beast. So that my three Benchmades. The Emissary, this is the one that it dropped and the spring broke and it turned into a normal axis lock, and then it fixed itself, and now it's assisted again. Good thing about this, that the blade shape, it's thin for EDC. EDC means different things to different people, I think. I mean, it's everyday carry, of course, but different jobs. Some people, you know, if you're a mailman, or versus if you're, you know, you working on houses all day long, building things, you're in building trades, you're going to have different, your EDC is going to, you know, have much different usage than, you know, the next guy. This is definitely a gentleman's knife. Very deep pocket carry. That's Benchmade's deep pocket carry. I like that. One of the flaws I talked about before was those 2 screws inside there. You see that? Right inside there, you can see the 2 screws there. That kind of catches on your pocket and tears it up. My pants, from practicing and doing things, always have that tore up pocket spot, you know. Very strong assisted opening. I mean, it comes out with a whack. You feel it. It's like bam, you know, it snaps out with authority. Very nice knife though, very sharp. And the blade point is really good. Like if you want to, you know, open up something or even mail anything, it's got that nice point that spears right in there. Very, very, very nice. I wish it was just an axis lock, just a normal D-assisted knife, but it is what it is. It's very, very nice. The Bone Collector. I love this knife. The one thing I'll say now that people complain about is for EDC, to carry it in your pocket, it has very tough grips that are cut. I have the walnut version, obviously, and they're cut out deep, and they really gouge your pocket. So getting it in and out tears your pocket up, okay? However, the weight of the blade, this is a hefty, look at that blade. It's a hefty knife, very substantial, very, very nice. It is so smooth. If you can hear that. I mean, it's just one of the smoothest knives that I have. It's beautiful. I usually, with any knife, usually have, with axis locks, 3 common ways that people open. They get good at doing the normal flick out and back. Usually when you flick back, you don't flick down hard, you just kind of pull back like that. So it's just a motion like this, so open, shut, right? Anything with a spidey hole like this, I usually do the finger flick. That's just what I like. How I do that is I grab the clip and I kind of get used to holding it like in this motion here. And, with all the fingers out of the way and so forth. Now what that enables me to do with that motion is flick with my finger easy. So it comes right out like that. Very quick way to deploy it. I like that method. That's my favorite method. With anything with a spidey hole in it, it just feels good. For me, it's natural. Some people do it with this finger. That feels foreign to me. I like grabbing the knife. Fingers kind of automatically go to the clip, and it feels like it's right there, ready to go. So this is D2 steel, I believe. Very nice knife. Extremely sharp. Very, very substantial blade. More of an outdoor knife though, I think, and I'll tell you why. Because when you go to like even opening mail or anything, I mean, look at that blade, say, compared to the Emissary. This guy fits in every nook and cranny. It just gets right in there, it's open, right? Very tiny point. That was the one complaint I had about this, is that it's more of a beefy, I'll cut a branch in half, and I mean, it's just a very substantial blade. If I was going to be camping or stuck outside or something, and I had to have a smaller EDC knife, I would like to have this because it's substantial. But for, just cutting open a package or something, that blade style, that shape, just isn't as useful, I think. Which then comes the Osbourne 940-1. The carbon fiber Osbourne. I love this knife. I got a super good deal on it. This guy is smooth as butter too. I mean, so smooth that it's basically, like a gravity knife. If you just do it just right, it just opens and closes like butter. You can also do the finger flick with these guys without the thumb hole though. The finger flicks aren't as good, doing the normal opening or flicking them out that way. With these, I just use the axis lock and swing it open, do my cutting, and close it. So axis lock open, axis lock close. That's what I usually do with these guys. This is a unique, they call it a reverse tanto. Very unique blade. It's a pretty long knife, given comparison to, say, these guys. Size-wise, it's kind of a long blade, long knife. Doesn't meet, I think it's 3.5 inch. So in our state, this is kind of a gray area. They don't bother you, but I think technically it's supposed to be the 3-inch deal. So that would be one concern, I guess. But very light, beautiful knife. I mean, man, this guy, it's one of my favorite. and it probably is my favorite right now. I'll tell you about my new one that could dethrone it. It's hard to say. Then after all that, this is my latest one, and then I picked up a dart. A buddy of mine showed me one, and I looked into it, and it's a strange knife. It's more of a combat deal, It's made to, you have this aluminum metal handle, and you can use it for striking. It does have the Emerson Wave, so when you pull it out of your pocket, I don't know if you can see this. Look at my pocket's all kind of tore up. I'll try to tilt this down so you can see it here. Hopefully this winds up in view. What it does is as you pull it out, that catches the blade, and it's ready to deploy. Obviously more of a self-defense deal. So you're here, crap hits the fan, you reach, grab here, boom, it's ready to go. Okay, and the Emerson Wave feature, that catches the clothing, or catches the pants or whatever, and that's what hooks and deploys the blade on the way out. If you don't use the Wave, there's nothing really to grab on to open it. You have to kind of reach in there. It's literally made, in my opinion, for one purpose. It doesn't really work good as EDC. I've used it because when I got it, I thought it was cool. It's like, I'm going to carry this around, but you got this big thing in your pocket with this giant metal hoop, and if you're going to jog at night and you're worried about being attacked, this is great. But for EDC, it's not very convenient. They're made in Italy. The blade is, it's not stamped. It's some weird thing. Very hard to sharpen, it seemed like, too. It's a quality steel. I don't remember what it was, but it is a good steel. Came with a nice point, and the top edge of the tanto blade was pretty sharp. The main part was not. I mean, I could run it across. I wouldn't even cut paper, really, But all in all, for what it is, for a defense weapon, I think it's good. A liner lock deal, I hate those, but I just thought it was cool. I liked the Wave feature, which led me to my first Spyderco. So the Delica 4 with the Emerson Wave opener. It's got the Emerson patent on it. On Amazon, really cheap, like $62 or something, Came really, I'm used to Benchmades as far as the smoothness and the axis lock, because this has a Spidey hole, and man, it's like butter, like so easy. I mean, it doesn't, just a little flick, it doesn't take much at all. And Benchmade's kind of come like that, and part of it is the axis lock, obviously. Spyderco with a lockback isn't, I can flick it, but man, I got to give it a much harder, and that's after I worked the crap out of it and greased it and everything else. You got to give it a pretty good. If you don't, it's going to stop there. So requires a substantial flick. It's very light and thin, and I mean, there's hardly anything here. The handle feels like nothing, but it feels great. I tell you, there's some jimping here, and the way that the Wave comes up, you put your thumb against it, and you've got the indent here, I feel like I could jam it inside a piece of wood, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, it is very secure, Same with the reverse grip, kind of, just because it sticks out so much. And even if it didn't have the Wave, the other Spydercos, they just have a fatter, like a leaf, blade shape, so you get the same effect. I like the Wave opening because of the Wave opening, because of the coolness of when you want it open quick out of your pants, but also because it makes it thinner, more like my previous favorite shape. It's similar, see? So you open an envelope, you do all your quick little, I need to get in here and cut tasks, and you don't have that like a fat blade. You have a nice small blade, but yet you have the big part here for the substantial, the blade's not going anywhere. It's actually really, really, really cool. Feels great. Came with the black clip. I sanded it right down. I love the look of, I don't like black coated stuff. I like it to be all, I think that looks much better I like the look of silver. And I don't like, I know Spyderco is known for their serrations. I usually, unless I have a special need for it, I like a straight edge. I just do. So this guy here isn't as nice as an axis lock, especially on closing, meaning when it's open, I do my cutting and boom, it's closed, right? Same with this guy, it's open, I cut, it's closed. With this guy, Spyderco's, you know, open, cut, you know, it's not bad. It's certainly one-handed. I can close it, you know, against my pants, against my body, whatever. I can close it, you know, just kind of pinching it, but it's not like an axis lock where it swings closed. That being said, it's kind of the best of both worlds, where if you can see this, if you pull it out up and straight, it's coming out like a normal knife. So my pocket's really tore up. This is a bad example, but okay, if I just come forward a little bit, it's a normal knife. Okay, so see, there's an example where it's kind of stiff, right? It just doesn't feel quite as good, but it needs to be worked in. It's brand new. I just got it a couple hours ago. Okay, but the Wave, you simply pull it and go back. So if I go back with it, it opens the Wave. There it didn't open all the way. Once again, stiffness and me being not having enough practice with it, but yeah, I think you have to pull it and give it a little more of a quicker draw. So from here, boom, there it goes. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll do it again. I'm wearing a headband with my camera mounted on it. So I'm here. I'm gonna tuck in my shirt. I'm gonna draw back a little bit and go semi-fast. So from here, boom. So it's ready to go. So the cool thing about this is it is kind of like the best of both worlds. It's kind of like honestly, it's kind of like a little weird blend of these. You know, you got blade shape, you got, you know, Spidey hole, and you have a Wave opener blended into one. Very light, very, very cool. Fits beautiful. This is, I don't know if it's my hand shape, but man, I tell you what, this thing fits beautiful in my hand. It really does. I really like this. The other concern, I guess, is kind of like this one. There's a lot of grip. You know, I forgot what they call this. I'm new to Spyderco. This is my first Spyderco knife. So, but it feels like it's not going to go anywhere. It feels great, right? Like the scales have a lot of deep cut pattern in it, but my pocket feels that too. You know, I feel a little bit like I'm tearing up my pocket again. This guy had a horrible, it was like each one was a point, so I had to sand them down. Otherwise, it was just ripping my pocket apart. So I certainly don't want to sand the Spyderco down. I don't think you're supposed to. That'll probably ruin it, obviously, with their logo on it. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to be too bad. Not like this, where it's really, you know, you can see the depth of those in there, right? And that really tears your pocket up. So yeah, so just a little bit of my collection and my newest toy, my Spyderco Delica 4 with the Emerson Wave. In kind of a, as you can see, I don't know if the camera shows against maybe like a black or something. It is kind of a dark, cool blue. It's really nice. I really, really like the color. You know, against black, you kind of see a little bit where it's charcoaly bluish, you know, I guess. But very light, very thin. This could be my favorite. You know, will it dethrone the just about $300 carbon fiber deal? Boy, you know, it's so hard to say. I mean, this guy is beautiful. It really is. It really is. If I had to recommend a knife to somebody and cost was a factor, for $62, how do you go wrong with this guy? I mean, 62 bucks. It is so cheap, you know. So now this is VG10, which I don't know most of it. This is S30V, S90V, D2. I forget what this is. and a VG10. So this was extremely sharp out of the box. This was very sharp, and it's the S90V, and it seems like it's staying extremely sharp. The D2 is very sharp, and it seems like it holds an edge really, really well. And this guy here came out really, really sharp, and we'll see if it holds an edge. I've heard mixed things about the VG10. I do have a Spyderco sharpener, whatever the famous one with the things that you go down with. I'd like to get that new Wicked Edge Gen 3, so we'll see. But for now, it's what I wanted to show you was the new addition to the family, the Spyderco. So that's my deal. Maybe I'll do another review in a couple months and show you guys how this is holding up and how this is working out for EDC. I know Delicas and Enduras and stuff are pretty legendary for EDC, and I can see why. I mean, it's not very costly. It's an awesome knife, you know, very thin, it's just made for EDC. I mean, it screams EDC, you know, it really does. Really does. There's a few things I wish that I could merge with the others. I'm getting used to the lock back and kind of, you know, I've already cut myself a little bit when you have to be careful with these. If you're too far back and you slam it back, then instead, see where this isn't, you got this stop here. So if you're close enough, you're bouncing against your finger there and it's safe. And I was here and it nicked me a little bit. You can probably see. I don't even, oh, there it goes. There's my little slice. So you always slice yourself with every new knife, right? And that's just the initiation deal. So there's again, Spidey, my favorite opening with the finger flick. You can Spidey drop it. It's very stiff though, so you have to give it a big thrust to Spidey drop this one. See, otherwise it doesn't lock out. And you know, they say it's just the breaking in. Once this is broke in, everything will be fine. So we'll see. But that's it for now. I feel like just playing with these guys all day for whatever reason. So smoothest one is going to be a toss-up between these two. They're smooth in different ways. This is just feels like dunk, and that blade is in there. Man, this is the cool. If the smoothness of this knife was on here, this would be unbeatable. It would be an unbeatable EDC knife, in my opinion. I mean, it would be phenomenal if it just had that feel to it, man, you know. But there's things I like about this that this doesn't have, so kind of a trade-off. So we'll see. But that's it.